Hello everyone, this is Tom Fox. I would like to welcome you to the Sunday Book Review. The Sunday Book Review is the series where I discuss books which impact the compliance practitioner, the legal professional, and the business professional. I hope you will enjoy this episode. This is a somewhat somber book review for August 15, 2021, where I take a look at books on Afghanistan to help understand the catastrophe that happened with the fall of Kabul. We begin with Afghanistan, A Culture and Political History by Thomas Barfield. This traces the historic struggles and changing nature of political authority in this region of the world. Thomas Barfield introduces the readers to the bewildering diversity of tribal and ethnic groups in Afghanistan, explaining what unites them as Afghans despite the differences that divide them. He shows how governing these people was relatively easy when power was concentrated in small dynastic elites, but how this delicate political order broke down in the 19th and 20th centuries, involving both the British, the Soviets, and of course now the United States. Next up, Heroes of the Age, by David Edwards. Much of the political turmoil that has occurred in Afghanistan has been attributed to religious extremists and others. In a significant departure from this view, David Edwards contends that though the political extremists and religious extremists undoubtedly played a significant role in this, Afghanistan's troubles derive from less than foreign forces and ideological divisions than they do from the moral incoherence of Afghanistan itself. Seeking the historical and cultural roots, Edwards examines three significant figures from Afghan history. Building on this foundation, he examines conflicting narratives of a tribal uprising against the British, then the Russians, and of course now the United States. Next up, also from David Edwards, Before Taliban. In a powerful book, he traces the lives of three recent leaders of Afghan history and how the promise of progress and prosperity that animated Afghanistan from the 60s crumbled and the present tragedies all occurred. Before the Taliban builds on the foundation of his previous book that I mentioned, Heroes of an Age, Afghanistan's believe their nation could be a model of economic and social development. Instead, political conflict, foreign invasion, and religious intolerance have led to impoverishment and political dysfunction. This story really brings forward, in Edwards' able hands, the culturally informed and providing a mesmerizing and revealing look into the social and cultural context of political change in Afghanistan. And finally, from Stathis, Kalyvas, The Logic of Violence and Civil War. By analytically decoupling war and violence, this book explores the dynamics and causes of violence in a civil war, which is essentially what happened in Afghanistan. Against the prevailing view that such violence is an instance of impenetrable madness, this book demonstrates there is a logic to it that has much less to do with collective emotions, ideologies, and cultures than is currently believed. He provides a novel theory of selected violence, which he finds is never a simple reflection of optimum strategy of its users. Using profoundly interactive characters defeats simple maximal logistics while producing surprising outcomes. I'd also like to announce an upcoming series commemorating the 20th anniversary of 9/11, which will appear the week of 9/11 on the CPN. If you work in compliance or internal controls, Enron was one of the most seminal events for you. Check out Lauren Siegel's episode this month on the Ethics and Compliance Library, where she interviews a co-author of The Smartest Guys in the Room and Enron whistleblower Sharon Watkins. It's a great episode. One of the most ubiquitous terms we've heard of in 2021 is ESG. I recently premiered the ESG report, where I take a look at ESG, slice it and dice it in multiple different ways, but primarily from the angle of the compliance professional and the compliance perspective. So check out the ESG report on the Compliance Podcast Network. Finally, on Compliance Man, this season we're looking at the questions of true or false as Tim Basanov, Katarov, and I pose a question and ask whether it's true or false. The Compliance Man brings the perspective of the compliance professional in emerging markets. Check it out.